Issue. And let me make the point here that that particular person who wrote a letter resigning from the airport authority, I'm not getting involved in her drama. Now, last week I shared an experience involving a public servant who said certain things, and I have at least 12 individuals who would have corroborated precisely what happened. What I said last week was the truth and nothing but the truth. This was not a private conversation between myself and the individual who I spoke about. And notice I didn't state a name. But this is something that I experienced as a prime minister of this country with a particular public servant. And it was unprovoked. And that person obviously could not control her emotions. I already say it's a she. And literally disrespected the prime minister of this country. In fact, the type of disrespect was such that she should have been summarily dismissed. But I don't fire people. So I took it. I didn't go as far as even reporting her to her superiors. I took it in stride. But I noticed now that that person trying to draw me into the drama, but I'm not getting involved, and that is why I don't want to have any discussions about it. And you notice too that I was accused of humiliating that particular person who resigned. And if that person wants to attach the comments I made last week to her, that's fine. But the point I'm making here is that person who accused me of humiliating her, Captain Osman Lake, was part of the discussion. And for all those who will call me from time to time, I don't hold my phone at my ear. Invariably, I'm on a speakerphone. Now, during that discussion, there was the Governor General, Sir Rodney Williams, and Captain Osman Lake were there. Captain Osman Lake asked me to intervene to try and get a meeting a little quicker because he was told he had to wait for 2 weeks to have this meeting. They're trying to establish an airline here, Sunrise Airways.
This is Antigua breaking news.
Not Silver, Sunrise. This is an additional one. And I called very respectfully, tried to get the person to meet a little earlier, and she said to me that she had to prepare the loan documentation for the airport. So I said to her, to the best of my knowledge, loan documentation is prepared by lawyers and consultants for the banks, and that the most that the lender has to do is to review the documentation. I mean, the initial preparation in terms of the financial statements and so on, that would have been the role of the airport authority, the CEO, the accountant, and so on. So I said to her, I'm not aware that she had to prepare those documents. Then she resiled away from that and said she had to review. So after she said it was a review, then I said, okay, fine, I understand. And the conversation ended there. There was no acrimony. She did not disrespect me. I didn't disrespect her. All I wanted was to find out if she could have seen him. I asked her why he has to wait 2 weeks rather than 2 days. And by the way, I have had other complaints about people trying to meet with her before, and it's a similar behavior. 2 weeks down the road. Practically anybody in this country can get an appointment to see the Prime Minister almost same day, provided I'm on island. I don't put back people 2 weeks and so on unless I have significant travel arrangements. And even if I didn't challenge her, but even if she was reviewing those loan documents, I don't know it will take 2 weeks. But okay, fine, I didn't challenge her. Now I see her claiming how that she's lead negotiator on the $100 million USL loan. Really? That facility initially started about almost 2 years ago. When we floated this $200 million bond. It didn't work out. Then Nadia Henry, who was working in finance, then introduced Oppenheimer. And then she brought me to the picture. We negotiated the amount, the interest rate, and we determined that the government must get a portion of it. That was not for the former CEO of the airport authority to determine. But here she writing as though she had some special skill to negotiate this. By the way, the Finance Administration Act is very clear. It's only the finance minister can negotiate such a facility. No other public servant has any such powers, any such authority. I will accept that she was the administrator to ensure that the documentation is completed and to review if she wanted to do it on her own, or she could have gotten somebody else to do it on her behalf. But in terms of lead negotiator, I mean, I don't know what she's talking about. I mean, she's accrediting or giving herself credit that she does not deserve. So, again, the things that she said were not true. And, any disrespect would have come from her. And what I'm saying here is that I have witnesses. Okay? Well, I want to make a general statement here. Yeah? To all public servants, I don't know that public service, especially those in senior positions. By the way, you let her call me on one occasion and the minister was there, yeah? And he said, good morning, Yoletta, how you doing? But she said, hey. Hey.
This is Antigua.
Anyway, look, I'm not even going any further, see? I will let you come. But I understand she's talking about constructive dismissal. First of all, I never fired her. My instructions were to get it done in 21 days. Now, you all heard a conversation I had recently with the acting CEO. And he said to me, even if I can't get it done within the next 2 weeks, I'm going for provisional approval.
This is
because he understands the urgency to get that airport over there open.
Yes.
We have about 200 of the most wealthy people, of the wealthiest people in the entire world, will be descending on Barbuda. And you're talking about people who will spend about maybe $50,000 per night and so on, the type of champagne and the wines and so on that they drink. Even the tips that they're going to pay the Barbudans, significant amount of money. Why should we miss that opportunity? So the current CEO recognizes the importance, the urgency. The minister here confirmed to you that was it in July? I called up the same Yoletta about the same. Huh?
It was a little later than that.
Maybe August?
Closer to September is my recollection.
Okay, anyway, closer to September. Because initially we wanted to open the airport in Barbuda in September, then we moved to October, then to November, now we're in December now. Now, I don't know that the Prime Minister doesn't have any locus to be following with senior public servants and to ask them to expedite these projects. I'm not asking them to cut any or to violate any of the provisions of the laws, environmental or otherwise, or any safety issues. All I'm asking, try and expedite. Anyway, I asked her to please expedite. When I did hear from her is when I picked up the phone and called her 3 weeks later, and nothing was done.
Really?
And I asked this gentleman here, he was there. So all the night she making around the place and writing letters and put it in the public domain trying to undermine me. It's she who tried to undermine me and to bring me into her commerce with the airport authority. Because she had this issue with the airport authority. It was, she's demanding an increase in pay. And irony about it, she came to me on 2 occasions, threatening to resign if they don't increase her pay. And I'm the one who said to her, look, young lady, do not give up your job. I mean, I know that you're qualified. You can get a job anywhere in the country, maybe anywhere in the world, because she has a skill that is in demand. But you have a good job. Don't give it up. And it's very difficult to get a corresponding job at this time at that level. And, she left. She wasn't particularly happy. In fact, on one occasion when she came with the same Avery, who is acting now, and is Joseph Samuel, the guy named the Airport Authority. They were there. So every time I spoke to her, the witnesses in which I begged her not to resign. The minister who just left here, Mr. Fernandez, begged her as well not to resign. So nobody tried to stop her or try to, she said, undermine employment in any way. It is she and her hot-headedness that has caused her to go that route. And as I said, I never made any complaint about her. All I did with a particular person, and if she wants to attach herself to that person I spoke about last week, that's her doing. I didn't call her name. Yeah, so I didn't come with any spite. What I was speaking about with that experience last week was the fact that these public servants, especially in senior positions, needs to have certain soft skills. Not just about your technical skills. You can't be talking to people in a particular way and then you feel offended whenever a senior person like the Prime Minister or Minister calls you and asks you to expedite, because that is precisely what that experience was. You understand? And again, it's an appeal to our people. I wasn't trying to shame anybody. I was to use that experience to tell these people, hey, look, you'll prejudice your job, you'll undermine your employment. And the reason why I did it too, because I care about these people, and I notice that people are giving up their jobs almost recklessly, stupidly, And the point I was making last week, I am not protecting anybody, because you protect them, they get even more hardened in their behavior, and then they become a serious problem. I did say too that there are 3 other entities in which action has been taken. That's because I had the knowledge. Even the one with state insurance, I mean, I'm not going to say anything about that. I mean, but the dismissal came from state insurance and ratified by NAMCO. In fact, that was never even brought to my attention until after the fact. So I got information. And the interesting thing, remember I told you all last week that when they prejudice the jobs, when they lose their jobs, then they come to the Prime Minister. I don't know if I sent you one of the messages that I got. One of those very persons who lost their job was trying to come to a back channel now to ask me to intervene and to reverse the decision. And what I was saying, I don't want to get involved in that type of situation. We want to have a meritocratic society, a productive economy, and one in which people produce. And if politicians are going to always have to intervene and to protect people, then clearly we will not be a very productive society. And this very lofty goal or vision of transforming the country into an economic powerhouse will become unachievable. We need a highly performing public service, a highly performing economy, so that we can lift the country and to improve the living standards of the people. I mean, I don't think people have made the correlation between productivity and pay. I mean, how are we going to sustain, regular increases if we're not growing the country's economy in a productive way? So that is as far as I'll go. And I just want to reassure the people of Antigua and Barbuda that I was not the offender, contrary to what that lady said in her letter. She was the offender, and she knew it. I know she felt that subsequent action would have taken against her, and she probably flew the coop. But the reality is, I had no intention. I said so publicly last week that with this other person who I spoke about, I had no such intention.
This is Antigua Breaking News.